The first thing Liam noticed as he entered the building was the scent. It struck him immediately, overpowering and unmistakable. Omega pheromones filled the air, intense and overwhelming. Liam, who had never been close to an Omega in heat, had to resist gagging. The next thing he noticed was the fear. It seeped from the walls, clung to the floors, and dripped from the chains that hung from the ceiling. The room reeked of despair and hopelessness, emotions radiating from the Omegas chained in a row, each one trembling under the dim light. Each of these individuals was collateral, sold by families who owed the Takayamas a debt, whether financial or otherwise. The Omegas were reduced to slaves, bodies to be auctioned to the highest bidder. Liam walked past them, his expression neutral. His disgust was a storm barely concealed beneath the surface. He had a mission to complete. "Here we have some of our finest," the salesman said beside him, oblivious to Liam's rising rage. The man gestured with pride at the chained figures as if they were livestock. Liam's gaze swept down the line. Among the faces, one face specially stood out, a boy with red hair, whose fiery aura matched his striking appearance. "This one has drawn plenty of interest," the salesman chirped, indicating another one. "A rare find?" Liam ignored and moved down the line, pretending to examine each Omega. He poked at their arms, tilted their faces up with cold detachment, and ignored the way they flinched. When he reached the boy's piercing blue eyes met his. Malnourished and bruised, boy radiated defiance. As Liam reached out to check his teeth, the boy lunged, snapping his teeth dangerously close to Liam's hand. Liam jerked back, startled. The boy glared at him with a fury that would have burned anyone else to ash. "My apologies, sir," the salesman babbled, his panic evident. "I assure you he'll be punished. This one is always trouble. If you'd like, I'll fetch you some." "No need," Liam interrupted. His tone was calm, but his eyes were sharp as he studied him. "I thought you kept them drugged." "We do, sir. This one resists." A voice, raw but sharp, interrupted them. "It's a shame, really," the boy rasped. Liam turned sharply toward the sound, meeting the boy's grin. It wasn't fear or submission. It was bold, reckless resistance. This boy, Liam realized, wasn't just another victim. He was a fighter, and exactly what Liam needed. Against his better judgment and the FBI's explicit instructions, he made his choice. "I'll take this one," Liam said, gesturing to the boy. "Sir, perhaps a more compliant—" "This one," Liam repeated firmly. The salesman stammered but relented, ordering the boy's chains to be removed. As soon as the boy was freed, he wavered on unsteady legs before collapsing forward into Liam's arms. "Leon," the boy said. "What?" Liam asked, holding the boy in his arms. "My name. At least you should know it if you are going to have me," boy said before falling into unconscious. Next day, Leon awoke slowly, his body sore but cocooned in warmth. Soft blankets enveloped him, and for a fleeting moment, he thought he might be safe. Then his wrist moved, and the cold metal of a shackle reminded him otherwise. Panic flared as he opened his eyes. The room was large and clean, sunlight streaming through the windows. But the shackle tethering him to the bed was unmissable. A gilded cage. "You're awake!" Leon looked up sharply to see Liam leaning against the doorframe, his expression unreadable. "Good morning, sir," Leon said sarcastically, masking his disgust with a cheeky grin. "How can I be of service today?" "Drop the act," Liam replied, his voice firm but not unkind. He moved closer, his posture relaxed but commanding. "You're chained as a precaution. As soon as I trust you not to try anything reckless, you'll be unchained." Leon narrowed his eyes, testing the waters. "What do you want from me?" "Not what you think," Liam replied, his tone cold but honest. "You're here because I needed to get you out of that place. That's all." Leon didn't believe him. "You expect me to trust you after buying me like a pet?" "I don't expect anything from you," Liam said evenly. "But if you want to survive, you'll listen." He left the room without another word, leaving Leon alone with his thoughts. Liam stepped into the penthouse's main living space, tension coiling in his chest. He lit a cigarette, the smoke curling around him like a shield. The FBI wanted results, more proof of the Takayama family's crimes. But this mission had already gone against his moral compass in ways he hadn't anticipated. He exhaled slowly, the city's lights stretching below him. The weight of his double life bore down on him. Mafia lord to the world, but undercover informant to the FBI. Even his closest allies didn't know the truth. He glanced at the door to the bedroom, where Leon was chained. The boy's resilience stirred something in him, a fierce need to protect. Liam wasn't here to exploit. He was here to destroy the system that had enslaved so many. For now, he'd play the role they expected. But soon, the Takayama Empire would fall, and Liam would make sure Leon will be there to see it. Next day, Leon was freed from his chains and was free within the penthouse. But it took Leon a while to gather the courage to open the door. What lay beyond it? Was it a trap? Was Liam waiting with some calculated punishment? The possibilities churned in his mind, but curiosity eventually overpowered his fear. Slowly, Leon slipped out of bed, his bare feet on the plush carpet. He hesitated, then opened the first door on the left. He exhaled in relief. It was a bathroom. Not just any bathroom. It was larger than most apartments Leon had ever stayed in. A tub gleamed in one corner, and a luxurious walk-in shower occupied another, equipped with an absurd number of shower heads. Everything was lined with white marble and gold, a display of wealth Leon found almost laughable. He quietly shut the door and turned to the other door. This time, when he opened it, his breath caught. It revealed a living area, decorated in black and gold. The open floor plan extended into kitchen and dining area. A chandelier sparkled from the vaulted ceiling, and large paintings adorned the walls. Leon looked in disbelief. Of course, he thought. This kind of luxury suits someone who buys an Omega Slave. His stomach growled, reminding him of how little he'd eaten. He went toward the kitchen and opened the fridge to find it fully stocked. Meats, vegetables, fruits, and a freezer crammed with ice cream. He couldn't help but laugh when he noticed an entire cabinet dedicated to chocolate and sweets. This man has a sweet tooth, Leon thought, grabbing a bread, peanut butter, and jam. He made a sandwich and was just taking a bite when he heard the soft ding of an elevator. The blood drained from his face. His body froze, but his instincts screamed at him to act. He set the sandwich down and reached for the nearest weapon, a sharp chef's knife. Before he could turn around, strong hands closed over his wrists. "Don't," a voice whispered near his ear. Leon's grip loosened under the gentle but firm pressure. The knife was guided back to the counter, and the hands turned him slowly. He found himself staring into Liam's face, the man calm but watchful. "I thought mafia bosses were supposed to be fierce," Leon joked, looking at him, masking his fear. Liam chuckled. "If I let go, are you going to stab me?" Leon shook his head and Liam released him. He gestured to the sandwich. "Eat." Despite himself, Leon's hunger outweighed his caution. He sat on one of the stools and resumed eating. Liam sat across from him, studying him. "Tell me about yourself," he said, his tone commanding. Leon raised an eyebrow, his mind racing. "How about a game?" he suggested. "You tell me something about you, and I'll do the same." Liam nodded. "Fine." Leon hesitated but decided to speak the truth for once. He told Liam about his life on the run with his mother, the betrayal by his father that led to him being sold, and the long string of hardships that followed. When he finished, his voice was bitter. "And now, here I am, at your mercy, lucky me." Liam's expression remained neutral, though something flickered in his eyes. "My turn," he said, standing. "I'll think of something to share later." Leon tensed as Liam moved toward the bedroom. "What are you doing?" "Taking a shower," Liam replied without looking back. "Will you be wanting company?" Leon asked, hating how vulnerable he sounded. Liam paused but didn't turn around. "No," he said firmly. Liam locked both bathroom doors as he entered, unwilling to risk another encounter with Leon holding a knife. He stripped quickly, stepping into the shower. The hot water poured over him, but his thoughts were elsewhere. He hadn't predicted the complexity of this situation. The FBI had recruited him to infiltrate the Takayama organization, but pretending to be the type of man who bought and owned Omegas was wearing him down. He turned the water cold, hoping to clear his mind. But when he returned to the bedroom, towel drying his hair, he froze. Leon was curled up in his bed, asleep. The boy's red hair fanned across the pillow, his face flushed. At first, Liam thought it was exhaustion, but when he placed a hand on Leon's forehead, he realized it was fever. Heat. Liam cursed under his breath and called for a nurse. Leon drifted in and out of consciousness, his body consumed by the fire of a sudden heat. He vaguely felt the cool hand on his forehead and the soothing voice of an Omega nurse nearby, but his instincts screamed for one thing: an Alpha. Alpha, Leon whispered, reaching out blindly. Liam tensed at the word, but he didn't move away. Instead, he carefully built a nest of blankets and pillows around Leon, following the nurse's instructions. But Leon's fevered gaze locked onto him, and he pleaded, "Hold me." Liam hesitated, his own instincts warring against his sense of control. "I need your permission," he said quietly. "Yes or no?" "Yes," Leon whispered desperately. Liam climbed into the made nest, carefully wrapping his arms around Leon without crossing any boundaries. The boy melted into his touch, clinging to him as though he were a lifeline. For a moment, Liam allowed himself to relax. He held Leon securely, promising himself that he would protect him, not just from others, but from the dark world that had ruined them both. Leon's breathing evened out as he fell into a peaceful sleep. Liam woke slowly, pulled from a rare, restful sleep. It was unfamiliar. He couldn't remember the last time he had let himself relax so completely. What surprised him more was that he'd done so in the presence of someone else. Leon had been the reason, Liam realized. Something about the boy had soothed his ever-guarded mind, though he couldn't quite explain it. Stretching carefully, Liam glanced over. Leon was still asleep, curled into a small, protective ball on the opposite side of the bed. Even in his sleep, the boy had respected Liam's boundaries, his hands folded close to his chest rather than reaching out. Liam smiled faintly at the sight. Sunlight streaming through the windows illuminated Leon's face, making him look more fragile than Liam knew he was. The moment felt almost peaceful. Then the door slammed open. "FBI, hands in the air,"